Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a deadlift day, but a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below, be greatly appreciated. So today I went with a deadlift bar. I'm like, let me just go for a beltless deadlift PR, and I got it, 605. This is the most I've ever pulled without a belt in my life. I think previously I've been like in the 580s. So this is really good because I don't think I've ever pulled this beltless even in my 20s when I had like a 650 deadlift at my biggest and strongest. But even then, I weighed more than I do now. So I'm real happy with that. It was a little slow through my sticking point. I'm not going to lie, it felt heavy. For a moment, I thought I was going to miss it. But I just kept pulling, and then once I got through that sticking point right at the knee, the lockout felt really, really good. So we need to work on that, and I'm aware I need to work on that. And I'm debating what exercises I really want to do there, whether I want to do some pause deadlifts, whether I want to do some glute bridges. I know I love good mornings, and I'm thinking about adding them in, but I'm also going, I don't know if they're going to fix that weak point for me where I slow down at. Really not sure that they are. So it's something to debate on. I almost am leaning in the direction of doing some glute bridges again. Just because if you look at the positions involved and the range of motion, it really hammers the muscles in that area and through that range of motion. So I decided to just do a bunch of deadlifting today. I'm like, look, I haven't done any volume pulls in a while. Let me get in. Again, I just need to stack more muscle on. I'm focusing on body composition, getting leaner, getting thicker, because I need to fill out this class. I need to lose more body fat and gain more muscle and fill out my weight class, because I'm going to stay competing in the 220 while I'm here in the Masters too. I think that's really the right spot for me with my height, but I've got to get the body composition better. Got to get the body composition better. I mean, not for the deadlift so much as really just the bench press. So I did a couple sets of 5. I dropped down to 425 after that 605. I did all these beltless, full resets. I did 2 sets of 5. That started feeling really heavy, so I'm like, let's get the volume in. So I dropped down to 335, knocked out 3 sets of 10. Again, just came in, took my time with it, generated some good, solid metabolic fatigue doing this, doing rep work. And I don't always do this, but in the past I have. You just have to really, really make sure your recovery is on point when you start repping deadlifts, okay? Because it just buries you. But they felt good. I felt so much activation through my whole body. Something I haven't felt in a little while because I've done everything split up more, mostly just, posterior chain work that doesn't load the spine. I've been doing a lot of that. And so to just come in and do these, they were challenging, right? They were challenging just to come in and do, rep work like this on the deadlift. But my conditioning is good right now. I do a lot of cardio, a lot of conditioning work. So it wasn't that bad from that perspective, but I felt it. And I felt everything. It's like after each of these sets, I was like, I didn't just feel, my glutes and hamstrings. I felt my back, my lats. I felt the long head of my triceps. Okay, I felt the long head of my triceps lighting up, my traps. Right? We just worked a lot of muscle. And keeping in mind, these are those muscles get worked on other days. I have a squat day and 2 bench days every week right now. Right? This is just coming in and working my deadlifts on Fridays, with rotating max effort lifts and then supplemental work. So afterwards, I went ahead and did some glute ham raises. I was hoping to get to 5 sets, but I got to the 4th set of these, and I'm like, my hamstrings are fried. All right, they were fried by that. About the 3rd set, I was really feeling like I didn't think I was going to finish the 3rd set. I ground out 1 more, and I'm like, that's it. I don't want to get hamstring cramps. We need to call it quits there. If you think about hamstrings as primary movers, the conventional deadlift lights hamstrings up a lot. It is arguably one of the better hamstring exercises. It's just that it has so much systemic fatigue and axial loading. It's not a lack of muscle activation. So really, before we even count the max, we had 5 sets of deadlifts. Right? We came in and did this. This is 9 sets for hamstrings. 10 if we want to count the ramp up to the max. Right? Posterior chain was hammered. Didn't have much left. So I felt like that fifth set just wasn't there. And that's the thing that we have to assess in terms of fatigue and volume sometimes, of going, hey, I wanted to do 5 sets of an exercise, but 3 really felt like I was pushing the limit, and the 4th one, there's nothing left. What am I doing at that point? Am I just going to start overreaching? Okay, I don't want to do that. I want to grow from this weekend. Plus, I tend to do quite a bit of fasted walking in the mornings on the weekends to burn body fat. So I really would like to be recovered tonight. All right, I need tonight to recover from this. I can't push it out too far. And then we're going to squat on Tuesday. And that's kind of, people would say, well, why didn't we do quad work today? Because I'm up in my quad volume on my squat days. I'm doing both supplemental squatting and the belt squats. The conventional deadlift works the quads. That max plus 5 sets of rep work on deadlift still works quads. It just doesn't work the deep knee angle, but there's still stimulus. There's still going to be carryover. It can re-stimulate muscle protein synthesis from the squat workout. Okay, it's like on the squat workout, I didn't do a bunch of hamstring work that day because I'm like, I'm going to do it on the glute ham raises and stuff on, Fridays when I deadlift. But there's still overlap. The whole lower body gets worked both days. I'm just a little more focused on anterior on one day and a little posterior on the other. All right. So then, of course, we still do our reverse hypers no matter what. These get done both lower days. All right. These are a staple. This is how I always like to finish off the lower body. We do reverse hypers, and particularly now that I'm doing them almost restorative numbers and focusing on getting as high as I can on the top. I'm only running 250 pounds now instead of trying to work it up into the 600s and swinging too much, what I used to do, which works really well for certain things. But I feel like in this case, my low back and my erectors really get worked harder doing this. Now, of course, this is still a hamstring exercise, but I'll be honest, I don't feel a lot of hamstring on this movement. It doesn't mean it's not being worked, but it's clearly not at a high threshold of stimulus for me personally. For me, it feels like all lower back and glute. Of course, keeping in mind, I'm doing a lot of rows on the upper days, which builds a lot of the muscles of the deadlift. We're doing squatting, having its own day with a lot of quad work, a lot of adductor work. All the muscles are being worked. So really, when I'm looking at the deadlift here, if I'm going to do volume deadlifts, what do I need to be looking at? Maybe which muscles need a little more attention, okay? And it doesn't need to be all the peripheral stuff. It needs to be posterior chain, a little bit of hamstring, extra hamstring work, particularly glute ham raise. It works the hamstring differently than the deadlift. Okay, so having that second exercise in there, we're hitting the hamstrings from a completely different angle, very different type of hypertrophy because of the heads of the muscle being worked at much different ratios. Okay, then of course we throw in the reverse hyper, and what's going on with that? Restorative, works the low back extremely well, works the glutes well. So all in all, the entire posterior chain gets hit hard, even though I feel like in a way this is a full body workout because quads get worked on the deadlifts, your traps, your lats, everything. Okay, it's all being worked. It's all being worked. The only things not being worked are generally your bench muscles. And I have 2 days for those every week, and that includes bicep and tricep work. So the bench muscles are really the only thing not really being hit. All right, and then of course I finish up with crunches. So I'm doing standing band crunches today. I went to over 100 reps, just tried to get at least 100, did a few more and squeezed on, I don't know how many I got, 105, 110, 115, who knows at that point. I just know that I got at least 100. And the other thing I like with the band crunches, when I do the really high rep ones just to finish abs off, I feel like they re-stretch the hamstrings and everything. So any potential for cramping and overuse that can happen there, especially the cramping end, I almost feel like this helps offset it because I get over 100 stretches of that hamstring. Getting blood back into it with a stretch, probably helping clear a few waste products out. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Although looking at my quads, they're so small compared to where they used to be. Part of me feels like I need to be doing some quad work on this day too. But I need to debate it. I've got to think about all of this in terms of recovery, what I'm doing there. So again, I've got to look at my total volume, particularly if I'm coming in and actually squatting and deadlifting for reps. So we can only handle so much supplemental volume, and I have to kind of weigh it out right now. Just has to be weighed out in terms of what we can do. But I felt like today was a good day. We only really did 3 exercises. But I felt good about the workout. It's just there's a lot of tonnage involved with the deadlift there. It's a lot of work. And that alone, I felt like I would have grown off of. I felt like there was a solid training response from that, but then we came in and finished off the other muscles of the posterior chain. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.